Deadpool and Wolverine just dropped recently, and you know, this is gonna be a spoiler review because it's been out for a couple of days now. What, like 4 days, like a couple of days. People have gotten to see it, especially the people that were excited for it. So we're gonna go ahead and review it, give our thoughts, what we liked, what we didn't like, maybe score it out of 5 or something, and then yeah, I mean, we're going to talk spoilers. So if you haven't seen it, you don't want to be spoiled, I suggest you go to the next time code, to the next topic, or
spoilers only. Honestly, your fault if you haven't watched Deadpool and Wolverine yet. Hugh Jackman's back as Wolverine.
Really, and they're all over the place. Like, the spoilers are being posted now. The floodgates are open,
news sites are just like,
I know. In case you didn't know. I know. So yeah, if you haven't watched it yet and you don't want to be spoiled, please do yourself a favor, go watch it, and you know, maybe watch this video after. But if you have watched it or you don't care about spoilers, then we're gonna go ahead and get into it. I'll let you start first, because I mean, I guess I don't really love every moment of it as much as you, but I mean, I still enjoyed it. But you give your thoughts, you know, any spoiler thoughts, I could chime in, but yeah, go ahead and take the reign.
For sure. Yeah, I love this movie. Like, I haven't been, again, and I said it in my review, I have not been this happy about an MCU movie since No Way Home. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Guardians 3 was like the other MCU movie that was like really good and kind of gave me that like good feeling again. But like, you went into the movie knowing it was the last Guardians movie. And that kind of like already makes it like, it makes you kind of not be like even if the movie's really good, I'm looking forward to the rest of the MCU.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because since the director's going to DC,
the director's gone. It's like it was the last movie. But yeah, like Deadpool and Wolverine hit all the right beats for me, man. I mean, the comedy was hitting. And granted, I will say this. If you go see this movie with a shitty audience, I don't expect you to like it as much as me. Because I feel like
you were on that day one audience,
and it's that and it's that kind of audience factor that it's that thing that makes a movie even better. It makes the experience even better. It would be different if I watched this movie twice and on the rewatch the audience was like kind of shitty and I felt a little bit different. But I've only watched it once and it was with like a diehard audience. Literally before the movie started, they're like, "Let's fucking go," and I'm like,
literally,
like,
so let's fucking go. I was like, "Oh, we got testosterone
and I was like, I'm
in
right
the crowd
with
today."
You, man.
Okay,
I'm right with you, and it made the experience all that much more better. And yeah, like when it comes to what the movie was setting out to do, I feel like a lot of people have their criticisms and have issues with the movie on kind of like a technical level in a way. Like they criticize like the cinematography, they criticize like the plot and stuff like that. And I just feel like going into a Deadpool movie, I'm not looking for those things whatsoever.
Especially this one. I feel like expectations were set by the trailers.
I remember telling somebody on Twitter, I said, walking into any MCU movie expecting great cinematography at this point is not it, right? You're ridiculous. I mean, MCU is not known for cinematography. In fact, they're known for shitty cinematography at this point, at this stage. But I walked in and I was just like, I just want to see Deadpool and Wolverine. Like that's what the movie is. That's what's enticing to me. Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, they've been trying to do this for years on years, and I just wanted to see it. And again, they delivered on everything that I wanted out of the movie. The comedy was so well done. It's very consistent with the other two Deadpool movies, and my audience was laughing their ass off. Like we were all laughing our ass off. Like the hard laughing, not like giggling, like hard laughing. And I loved it. It feels so good to watch a movie in a theater and be able to just.
That's really what the theater experience
let
is
yourself
for,
go,
to connect with random people. Like
that is what it's for. And yeah, I feel like that was one of the things that I really enjoyed in the movie. The action is arguably the best. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like
it's pretty consistent with, but yeah, it's more elevated.
Very consistent with the other ones, but you can see the MCU budget. You can see it, like in the intro, you can see the MCU budget, and it's like I loved it. And by the way, let me get this out of the way before anything. We watched this in IMAX 3D. this is one of the greatest 3D experiences I have ever had in my life. And that is insane to say because one, it wasn't marketed at all. Like at all.
It wasn't. I saw one promo that marketed and I was like, oh,
I
okay.
didn't see any of that kind of marketing at all. And this is genuinely one of the greatest 3D experiences I've ever had. None of the 3D was shoddy. It wasn't too underutilized like a lot of movies that are just formatted for 3D are. Like it's like not a lot is in 3D.
Yeah.
It was literally like almost perfect. Like I would put it right below like Avatar in terms of like my 3D experiences. And the intro that intro in
3D was something to behold.
That intro in 3D, literally the moment like the logo popped up, I was like, oh. And I thought that it was going to be an issue, like because again, nothing was marketed. I was just kind of implicitly in the back of my head kind of thinking it's probably gonna get like worse, or it's probably not gonna be this. Yeah, it's probably not gonna be this good all the way through. But dude, the 3D was hitting. It didn't make me like want to take my glasses off at any point. It didn't like nothing, man. It was so good, popping out right at you. Great like use of the 3D space. Like it was, all that stuff was fire. So I really do suggest anybody to go watch this in 3D. Like, and that is crazy coming from because I'd
say IMAX 3D because we have not seen the other formats. So like I'm not
no. We haven't, but I could imagine if it's still good in IMAX 3D, it's probably gonna be pretty good in real D 3D. But IMAX 3D, dude, it was hidden and like off rip already from that. Because let me tell you something. When I bought the tickets, I was kind of like
disappointed and
F you, Marvel, because I was like the primetime showings for opening night, like the 7 p.m., 6 p.m., 8 p.m., the primetime showings. Of course, they're gonna upcharge the most expensive tickets possible. IMAX 3D, like $20-something tickets. I was like, F it, we'll shell it out. It's Deadpool, Wolverine, whatever. Like we're just gonna have to deal with the 3D. I am so happy that I purchased those tickets because like the 3D was again like right off rip. I saw it and I was like liking the movie like already because of the 3D aspect. Changed the experience a little bit. It's not just watching a good movie, it's having like a whole experience with it. So off rip, I just want to get that out of the way. But going back to the movie, I just feel like everything worked. The relationship between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, literally everything I could have
worth for. The wait.
Like they hyped it up. They wanted to do it for years, and it would be one thing if it came out and it was like, okay, that was pretty good. But let me tell you, bro, I need a trilogy of this. I need a trilogy of Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. I don't even care. It doesn't even have to be Deadpool and Wolverine. It could be The Proposal too. I don't really care. Like I literally just want to see Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds together because their chemistry was so good. It was so good. You would have thought that these dudes like knew each other for years, man.
I mean, they did. They were in X-Men Origins.
But I mean, like in terms of like on-screen characters, you would have thought that they knew each other like for years and were like the bestest of buddies. Because by the end of the film, it really feels that way. Like it really feels that way. But that is one thing that I really liked about the movie. Again, the action, the cinematography is not bad. I don't like how some people are trying to like grill the cinematography. It's not bad, and it's insane to me because it's definitely one of the better looking MCU movies. So I don't really understand.
I'd say it looks as good as every.
And also, you do have to take into account that it's one of those movies that's like under wraps. You know what I mean? You're not gonna
studios to high
it's not gonna be like on location.
Kind of
like
has the No Way Home effect.
Planned out shoot. That's what I'm saying. And look at how the movie still turned out. Like it looks really, really good. Deadpool's fourth wall breaks are arguably better than ever because of like where the MCU is at now. Like in this dog shit position where they're just releasing shitty movies, and we got Agatha dropping like in like where the MCU is at right now. It literally like paved the way for Deadpool to make so many funny jokes about it, and like they definitely like took advantage of that aspect, and I love that. So the fourth wall breaks were like better than ever. And since this is spoilers, I will go into the cameos. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say, man? Every single one. I saw a freaking 𝙧 pop out, and I'm not gonna lie, at first I didn't think it was Elektra, because I'm gonna be honest with you, there was nothing in my mind telling me that Elektra would be in this movie. Like, I was just like, there's no way. But then Elektra pops out, and I'm like, at that point, I'm just waiting on Ben Affleck's Daredevil. I'm like, okay, so the next one that's gonna pop out is clearly Ben Affleck's Daredevil. And then they're like, oh no, you thought you were gonna right there. And then another character that I'm not even thinking of.
Yeah, that one Blade is nowhere. Huge curveball,
especially with the whole way MCU is handling Mahershala Ali's Blade. Blade has left my mind like a long ass time ago, and to see Wesley Snipes pop out and look good.
Oh, he looked really good. He did,
bro. Whatever suit they had him wearing,
I know,
just looked so really cool. Freaking good. He didn't look like a day over like 40, bro. No, like he looked so good. He had like a white patch with the white patch on his hair. It looked so cool. Dude, at that point I was like, you got me. Like you and then you saw the card, you know me so well.
And then you saw the card come in the door.
Then you see the card come in, and I'm like,
oh,
okay, so it's Gambit. But I'm like,
no, you knew who it was. You knew who it was.
Yeah, there's something in my head telling me. I'm like, it has to be Channing Tatum's Gambit. Lo and behold, it is in a comic accurate suit, not comic accurate voice. I will say that.
It was odd.
Dude,
it was hilarious.
I don't know what accent he was making, but it was some of the funniest shit I have ever experienced in a movie. I swear to God, it was like they weren't like, bro, do not act like Gambit. Just like act like this is like a Jump Street movie, bro. Like, do not act like Gambit, bro. Like, and it's like they ripped it right out of a Jump Street movie.
Ooh, I might have to go there for us.
Man, I mean, some of the funniest stuff ever. And then you get this action sequence from the cameos, and it's just like, it's again, with that audience, it's like all of us in this room are experiencing everything that we wanted from this right here. It'd be different if it was just like, oh, cameo, kind of like Henry Cavill's cameo, which also was fucking insane. I mean, I saw his back, and I was like, Wolverine looks a little fucking jacked, like huge, holy shit.
Yeah.
But never did I think it was going to be Henry Cavill. And as soon as he turned around, I was like, oh my God, they did it. Like what? I'm not gonna lie. What an FU to WB.
Not even like, that they did. To me, it was like, oh my God, Henry did it. Like Henry's in Marvel.
It's
that's
like,
crazy.
dude, like it was insane. So the cameo fest, consider me a fan, right? I don't care what anybody says. Oh, it's just No Way Home, but like
fan service. I'm a fan, and I like to be serviced. What do you mean,
dude? And my thing is like, I feel like that's what you're going into the movie for. I feel like that's what the movie is setting out to do. Literally, it's called Deadpool and Wolverine, and it's bringing back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It is literally setting out to do fan service, and it did it. It did it, dude. My audience was like, dude, it was like everybody was my homie in the audience. I swear to God, like we were all like on it, man. We were all with it. So yeah, and then you have Emma Corrin as Cassandra Nova, which could have used a little bit more. It's kind of like they had two antagonists in the movie with her and a little TVA agent guy. And you could have had a little bit more from Cassandra Nova, but I'm not gonna lie, like I didn't need more. Like I feel like I've never really been like infatuated with the villain in a Deadpool movie. Like Ajax was like, okay, like
but I wish her motivation.
I feel like the only cool thing about Ajax was that he created Deadpool.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like
aside from that,
I wish her motivations were a little bit more personal to Deadpool and then instead of I'm gonna take over multiverse, like.
Yeah, a little bit. And then Deadpool 2, it's like it kind of switches. It's like Cable at first, and then like it's not. And then it's like the orphanage people that are holding what's his name hostage or whatever. Like so it's kind of like I never really watched that the movie's going like the villain. So I wasn't really expecting that anyways. But like Emma Corrin's Cassandra Nova set up a fucking epic ass third act, bro. Like when I tell you, I don't even understand how some people are trying to say like the third act was the weakest part for them, bro. Arguably the best part for me, man. You had Wolverine pop out in his mask. I was like, bro, slowly putting on his mask. I was like, Jesus, I didn't know how long he was gonna have it on. I was just like, I'm looking at it. The
decibels in our theater when that happened were crazy.
It's like, dog, like
when he put that mask on,
oh my God, the entire theater was going.
It's crazy, like all of us were like connected, like together through a chain, and like when one got goosebumps, everyone else got goosebumps.
It was amazing. I loved that third act. You got the needle drop. The needle drops in the third act were freaking hidden, and then arguably they make it even better. Wolverine is like shirtless with just his pants and just the mask, and it looks so fun. Because you know Hugh Jackman is like ripped to shreds. Like
it is hilarious that like the suit part got ripped off.
just the torso
just
part.
The torso
not any other part.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
But I love that's that like playfulness about the Deadpool movies. Like it knows how to play into that kind of stuff.
Fun,
like, they know people like seeing Hugh Jackman's ripped ass. Like they at this point they know
crazy.
that.
How old is that man? That dude.
I don't know, but whatever it is, it doesn't look like it, bro. Let me tell you something. So that I mean set up like an epic ass moment of the third act with like a prayer, with like this remix of like a prayer by Madonna playing, and I was just in that theater. I was feeling it all, man. I was grabbing to my armrest. I had goosebumps. I was fucking sweating, bro. I thought I was connected to them. Like, I swear to God, bro. It was the craziest thing ever. Deadpool, Wolverine, fire as hell. Action, fire as hell. Y'all want to complain about the writing? I don't know since when we started criticizing writing in Deadpool movies, but apparently we do that shit now. The cinematography was fine to me. The action sequences are arguably the best that they've ever been, man. I just can't say enough that I like about this movie. Had to give it a score out of 5. I would give it a comfortable 4 out of 5.
Comfortable 4?
Yeah, 4? I would give it a comfortable 4 out of 5. Comfortable 4
Me personally, I think this is probably and might probably be the most entertaining movie all year. Like I think,
oh my God,
it's the type of movie where you might not walk out and think it's Dune levels great, but you will walk out of the theater like on such a high. And even when you're watching it, it's hard not to pay attention to a movie with Deadpool and Wolverine in it, and especially their dynamic. Like it makes just the screen so magnetizing. And as for like my biggest takeaways, obviously I think the soundtrack's pretty great in here. It's pretty consistent with the first two. I'd say this is like better soundtrack than the first movie personally.
Yeah,
I still
maybe
think
not the second, but
I still
better
think
than
the
the
second
first
has
one.
the best. But
I feel like the first one only has like 2 or 3 songs.
2 or 3 songs. I mean, the ones that I remember, it's like 3 songs.
It's memorable.
Yeah,
it's memorable though.
And then obviously the action's really great in here. I really like
that fight with Deadpool against Wolverine.
Yeah, man, that fight was crazy because
first
like
fight, let's fucking go, and he's like, let's give
marketed in the trailer.
Like, dude, the whole audience is like, let's go.
Yeah, it's the type of moment where like
he kicks up the freaking things. It's just sound effects, and then the music goes again. I was like,
yeah,
oh my God.
It's there's moments in this movie where they completely stop, like plot. They completely stop pacing. They completely stop everything to have like this moment that even they know is like gonna be iconic. Like it's gonna be so good. Like there's a moment, and it's actually really good, where they're in a Honda Odyssey, which was a good running joke, by the way, where they were in a Honda Odyssey, and the moments before like the events that happen in there are really good. Hugh Jackman delivers some really great like emotional dialogue, but then the fight that ensues is like the most like it's completely like stopping and halting.
There's almost a sexual tension to the
fight. Yes, there really is.
It's
like
crazy.
Actually, it was really like great to see both of them. And I will say, I think Hugh Jackman, now obviously I'm not gonna say this performance was on the level of Logan, but in terms of the Wolverine character, I think this is the most authentic version of the Wolverine that we've got.
He says, I mean, I'm proud to wear this suit. I felt every bit of it when he said that, man. I felt every bit of it. I was crying, man. Come on.
I mean, it's wild. I did like our crowd was already going crazy, and like you had like the whole TVA sequence when Deadpool went back to go find a Wolverine. That entire sequence was hilarious.
Great.
But then when they were about to fight, dude, the The second I saw Wolverine start crawling on the ground, I lost my shit. I was like, I can't wait till Kevin Feige does his own X-Men. I cannot
can't
wait till he
Especially
does.
Seeing like, Gambit and shit like in action. It's like, I need it so bad. I leaned over to my brother in the movie and I was like, I want to see the X-Men like so bad in the MCU. Like,
yeah, it's not. It's not like, you know, a perfect movie, but I mean, it really is hard to imagine.
To hate it. Like, I can't
someone
imagine
walking out with like negative feelings on it. I could see.
You gotta go in with negative feelings. You gotta go in with negative feelings to walk out.
I think,
or just not be a Deadpool fan. You're not inherently.
Yeah, I think like obviously there's gonna be comparisons drawn to the previous two. And while I think it does some things better than the previous two, it also does some things worse. I think this is by far like the worst paced one. It is. The editing, the pacing is like,
it's lightning fast all the way through.
It's pretty rough. And then I will say it doesn't really have that. It has a heart, but it doesn't have the like the gut punch that the previous two have, or rather the sincerity that the previous two have. This one's more of it uses its narrative, quote unquote, its narrative as a device for, you know, cameos and paying respects to this bygone era of Marvel, but also weaves in the themes of Wolverine and Deadpool's character arcs using it, while the previous two films are much more personal and kind of a story of themselves rather than weaving a like extended narrative around that. And I will say I think that's where the movie kind of dips for me in comparison to the first two. Is it has a heart, but it just doesn't have that spine. It doesn't have that spine that 1 and 2 have. And I also think like there is a hole here from the missing of the cast that was introduced in the first two. Don't get me wrong, love Deadpool, Wolverine, and if that's the sacrifice they had to make, that's cool. I mean, I'm fine with it, but that doesn't mean I'm not gonna feel it. Like I did feel Domino, Cable, Colossus, Negasonic Teenage. I did feel them missing. There was a hole there where it did feel like Deadpool's in the MCU. And
Yukio was in the movie though.
Yukio, yeah, it comes with its caveats, and I think you know, the big takeaways here are obviously the fan moments, the action, the music. I mean, just the performances and chemistry between Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds alone is so incredibly explosive. It's so entertaining. And I'd say, maybe it doesn't have the pacing, the editing, the story, you know, that the previous two have. But I mean, it's not bad. It's not a step down. It's pretty consistent with the franchise. And I think like if you don't love the Deadpool movie, sure, I could see you not walking out of this liking it. Absolutely.
This is arguably the most Deadpool movie.
If you like the Deadpool movies, you'll love it. I thought the third act very reminiscent of Guardians of the Galaxy 1. That's all I'm gonna say. But it was really cool. I thought
they were even gonna make like a slight joke about it.
Yeah, I know.
At one point.
It's crazy because like with all the cameos and everything, like it still managed to I guess with No Way Home, the cameos weren't as extended. Like they're all Spider-Man, so like it's a much easier story to tell with Tom Holland's character. While here you got like literally different characters from literally different movies. Like and so they had to like figure out a way to weave them through, and it wasn't perfect. Like sure, like some of them are used as more plot devices than narratives, but
and straight up
it works towards the end and in a thematic way. I do think the villain was pretty lackluster, but her powers looked sick. I will say that. Like the visualization of some were really like
it was like some Doctor Strange shit.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Like some Scarlet Witch.
There's a lot to like here. I can understand if you really love the Deadpool movies. I could see you like having a straight up blast with this. If you don't, I don't know if this is like gonna change the direction.
I feel like if you don't not a fan of the Deadpool movies, I could see why you probably wouldn't like this movie. It's got like the most Deadpool-y stuff in it, where it's like fourth wall breaking a lot, and it's making I don't know. It's just it's kind of like the most playful out of all of them, while the other two kind of feel more grounded than this one.
They feel a lot more like personal Deadpool stories, while this one feels like literally if Deadpool was part of an extended comic company and Marvel bought them. You know what I mean? Like it kind of feels like that. And you know, it comes with its caveats. It's not perfect, but it is so entertaining. I mean, if
all the way
up
through.
To me, out of 5, I would give it, I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think it's really great. It just has some things, you know, weighing it down a little bit. And that might be as a result of stuff like the writer's strike, it being in the MCU.
Yeah.
You know, doing a lot of things. It's juggling a lot, but it manages to still like kind of deliver on what you want. Like you weren't watching the trailers going, oh, I can't wait for this story of Deadpool and Wolverine. Let's be honest. You watched those trailers and you were like, I cannot wait to see Deadpool and Wolverine walking and talking. Man. Like literally, that's what it is.
They did a whole lot of that, and I was enjoying every bit.
It's so entertaining. It's
Wolverine's
it's
just walking with a dog, and I'm enjoying it.
And the writing, I will say, like the writing, the dialogue specifically, and the jokes, they're not as clever as like I'd say the second. I think the first movie's dialogues kind of aged a little bit, but in terms of the second movie, I think that's the most clever and kind of well written. The dialogue
and the timing of the stuff in the second movie.
But I do think in Deadpool and Wolverine, the big laugh moments are the biggest. They are huge. It is so there is funny, some genuine, there's stuff in here that you thought you would never see, and it's just hilarious at times. It's jaw-dropping at times. It's got everything like you kind of want in the theatrical experience. I think that's what's most important. Is the MCU back from this? Probably not. It doesn't really prove to me that like their storytelling is back. Like it doesn't. But it does prove to me that they still know how to make event films. And with Deadpool 2 and No Way Home, like they still got it. They can still do a team up and make it feel
they can use
epic.
The multiverse saga at their advantage too.
But you guys drop in the comments below your thoughts on Deadpool and Wolverine. That's me. 3 out of 5 again. He gave it a 4 out of 5. Those are our quick scores and our quick reviews for Deadpool and Wolverine. And once again, you guys tell us your thoughts.